It's been a while. Hey guys, welcome to Doom Productions. I tweeted out 2 weeks ago now just a question on phone filmmaking, so shooting a feature film on a cell phone. Here at Doom Productions, we've made 3 feature films now on a smartphone. So our first one was House, which I shot last year, and it came out around Halloween. And then after that, we shot a documentary called See You Soon, which is about the movie theater scene here in Portland, Oregon. And then the most recent movie we released that was shot on a phone was Wild Boys: The Hunt for Sasquatch, which is a movie that Jordan and I made with our friend Zach. He was the director for that project, and that was a lot of fun. And those 3 different movies all kind of have a different approach to how we shot them, but they were all shot on a phone. So we just kind of have a good chunk of experience now shooting phone features. So we wanted to kind of just get your guys' questions and answer them for what's our process like and what kind of advice can we pass on to you if you wanted to make a phone feature film. So without further ado, I'm going to just start answering some of your guys' questions now, and hopefully the answers we have can help you out on your next project. This first tweet here comes from James Wilson, and he asks, what equipment, if any, do you use with a smartphone? So, and also what sound recording equipment do we use? With equipment, we're really stripped down. We do not add a lot to our phones. Pretty much the main thing that we do is we put them on a tripod. And even then, that's totally optional. The great thing about phones is they're really easy to move around. So tripod if you want. And then outside of that, we use moment lenses. So I have an 18 millimeter and a 58 millimeter just to vary up the focal range. But that is also very optional, especially now with smartphones with multiple lenses. You don't really need them, but they are just a nice addition if you can afford them. But that would be optional. And then in terms of audio, this is a question that we've got a couple times. So in terms of audio, what we usually do actually is we just use the internal microphone for our phone, because usually we're pretty close up filming, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot. And phones are like designed through software to pick up human voices well. So usually you can get a semi-decent bit of quality from that. But for our movie See You Soon, we were standing really far away from the camera, and we're usually by places with a lot of traffic. So for that instance, we were shooting with the phone far away, and then we had a lav mic attached to a Zoom recorder on us, so that way we could sync up the audio later in post, and that was how we got such clean audio for that. What I would suggest is just know where you're shooting ahead of time, and if you know it's going to be in a quiet space, or you know you can have the phone close to your actors, you should probably have pretty good audio at that point. But if you know you're going to be in a place that's noisy or far away, I would suggest obviously using a microphone or having some kind of lav system on your actors. So just take that into consideration, and then usually you will get pretty good results. This next question is from Gage Clift, and he was asking pretty much, how do you get the cinematic look on a phone? What do we do that makes our footage look good? And honestly, we don't do a whole lot. Color grading can be helpful. For our movie House, we color graded, but I think for See You Soon, it was a really, really light color grade, and I don't think we even color graded Wild Boys. I think that was just out of the phone footage. So at the end of the day, I think really what it comes down to is the way you shoot your movie. Composition, I think, is the stronger thing you have to play with when it comes to phones, because you are going to be sacrificing quality. Even if you're shooting at 4K, the sensors and the ability to capture video well on a phone is just a very different thing from how it would look if you're shooting on something like a DSLR or, you know, anything bigger than that, cinema cameras, what have you. So really it is just, the end of the day, your composition, the way you're shooting, the way you're framing, where you're putting your camera. That's one of the greatest upsides of phones, is that you can put your phone anywhere and it's gonna create a really cool, unique shot. Like you can put it high up in corners, you can put them low, you can put them under things, you can have, you know, items placed on top of them. You can really get creative. I just think of, you know, watching shows like Breaking Bad that had really creative camera work within them. I think how much easier it is to accomplish some of those shots with a phone, because just how small and easy it is to kind of put anywhere. I think personally that's probably the biggest thing you can do to make your movie look more cinematic, because obviously you are taking a hit on your camera quality. So I'll just take that into consideration, and then playing around with it, knowing the strengths of your camera. Like our first camera, this is slightly off topic, but our first camera that we shot movies on was the Canon T4i, and it was the camera we shot on for 7 years before we upgraded to a different camera. So I knew really well what that camera could do great at and what it would be terrible. The same thing goes with phones. Get familiar, shoot with it often, just pull it out, get cool clips in different spots that you're at around town or wherever. And from there, you can kind of see what kind of shooting scenarios does your phone camera do great at? What is it terrible at? Is it really good at low light? Is it great at only sunny days? And then from there, you can kind of choose more specifically the look you want for your movie based on what you're shooting on. And if you decide you don't like this phone look, that's also fine too. It's definitely not for everyone, so don't worry about it. This next question comes from Sam, and he asked, do you edit using your phone or Premiere? I have edited on my phone. It's not my favorite. It's just a little cramped usually. I'll actually usually transport my footage over to my iPad. If I'm gonna edit on a phone or on a mobile app, I'll use Premiere Rush. It's not my favorite. I'll usually do it just to like get a preliminary edit done so I can kind of see what it's looking like and if I want to make adjustments. I think people are probably getting better and better equipped to edit on phones. I'm not the best at it, but I mean, if you're a regular on things like TikTok or Reels on Instagram, I bet those people would be really good at editing on phones and think that, you know, I'm a baby for not editing on it. So again, it's one of those things that if you get a lot of practice in, I bet you can get really good. I just haven't done that. I'm spoiled by just using Premiere. McSweeney Films, what's the best way in your opinion to record audio? Get a mic or sometimes just use your phone. It should be all good. Okay, this is a good question from Iron Chacha, and he actually gave two questions. So I'm going to start with this one, which is, apart from not owning a DSLR, why might someone choose a smartphone over, a nice camera? Honestly, I think that just comes down to the two things, which is convenience and the kind of just effect from watching phone footage. So I'll start with the first one there. So the convenience just of having your phone on you is you can kind of film anywhere nowadays. People are so used to seeing people film on their phones that if you went in public and was shooting just pictures or videos on your phone, most people don't care at all. Even security, even, people who are, overseeing a space, they generally don't care unless they're just really, really picky and really strict. So use that to your advantage. You can film really openly in public. Jordan and I have filmed in stores, we've filmed in malls, we've filmed all over the place because we're filming on a phone and we're just really discreet and respectful. But really at the end of the day, it's just so convenient to shoot on your phone. And most of the time, your footage will match your nicer camera. So if you're gonna film a scene in public that's kind of trickier to pull off with a big camera, film it on your phone and then add that footage into your edit that's being shot on a nice camera, and you probably will get away with it just fine and no one will really notice. So just feel free to try that kind of stuff, and the phone just gives you freedom to mess around in public. The next thing is also, there's an effect of watching footage on the phone that you can't get from any other type of camera. What I mean by that is we're also used to watching media through our phones, and everything we see that's shot on a phone is generally like a first-hand account. So when we see footage that is shot on a phone, it gives us the sense of realism that a polished like Hollywood cinema camera would not give you that same level of realism. That just feels very produced. So use that realism that people kind of now subconsciously have in their mind to your advantage. Our video Wild Boys Hunt for Sasquatch, or our movie Wild Boys, we shot that to be like a vlog so that it kind of has this feeling of these are just three real friends going out into the woods to hunt Bigfoot. So it kind of lets the audience buy into the world a little bit. So it kind of changes their perception and the way that they're kind of viewing the movie. So use that again to your advantage. It gives it kind of an authenticity. And I think that's kind of the fun part of shooting on a phone. This is editing, Ethan, and I totally forgot to answer the second half of this question. So I'm going to do that right now. So the second question was, should you consider the phone medium when you're writing your script for your movie? And I think generally the answer is no. You shouldn't really worry about what you're shooting on or too much. But the times where I think you should consider it is, does it affect the project, or is it like crucial that they're shooting on a phone? Like if you take our movie Wild Boys, it's a vlog style movie. It's my character's like YouTube channel is what it's presented through. So that's a time where I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of think about what you're shooting on. But most of the time, I think it's okay to just worry about the story first and then think about what you're going to shoot it on later on. So I think it's up to the project, but generally, I think you don't need to worry about it too much when you're in the writing process. Thanks for the question. Great question. I really love that one. So thanks for submitting it. What's the workflow for bringing footage into an editing program? Any differences? Not really. I used to edit on or shoot on a Google Pixel. And so that was really easy to just plug into my PC and just take the footage off like I would anything else and just transfer it over to Premiere. I'm new to the Appleverse, and so I'm still kind of getting used to all of that, but AirDrop makes it really easy to generally just get all your footage off and throw them onto your computer. And again, just edit it like normal. It'll be fine. And then we got the question from Dan Lotz that I've been saving for last because it's the hardest one in my mind. So what are 3 disadvantages to shooting on an iPhone or any phone? And what should people be thinking about when they're deciding if they want to shoot on a phone? And that's really hard. I'm going to take a breath here. I'm talking a lot. 3 disadvantages. I think the first one is just literally you are taking a quality drop. If you're one of those people who's super anal about the way their movie looks, I used to be one of those people. I used to have a really hard time with anything other than perfect footage. So my first film, House, was shot because I wanted to kind of let go of that control. And it kind of helped freed me up to just worry about the movie and not the look of the movie, which I think is such an easy little tripping point for filmmakers to fall into, is the looks over just the feel. So you are taking a quality drop. And if you're someone who really cares about that, maybe this movie project that you're working on shouldn't be shot on the phone. And that's okay to not shoot every project like that. And probably another disadvantage is just that you're giving up a sense of control for your camera like quality. So I guess that's kind of the same thing again, but you're losing the kind of ability to control your shutter speed, your aperture, unless you're using a third-party app. But I actually recommend generally shooting in your native camera app. I think it generally just makes it easier. I'm trying to think of a third one. I don't know if because again, it's all at the end of the day a choice. I think it's, like those artists who you'll see online who choose to paint with Crayola crayons instead of super high quality crayons. It's like you can still make art with them that's really impressive. It's just you have to almost know what you're doing more, so that way when you strip down all of the control, you still are able to produce something really good. So I think if you're looking to kind of grow your ability to make something look great, try shooting it on a phone, because sometimes making the job harder for yourself is going to give you results that you're going to be a lot more proud of when you see how they turn out, or you can kind of be surprised by the results. So I think those are my big takeaways from shooting on a phone. This is kind of a different thing. I haven't really done a Q&A before, so I hope this is interesting to you guys. I'm looking forward to putting out more videos for you guys. I know it's been a while since I've been on the channel, so excited to be back and at it strong. So thank you all for submitting questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. So hope you all are doing well, and I'll see you in the next one.